Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Current blood sugar is sitting at this one sec here. Should have had this ready, but sorry. I'm currently sitting at 9, and we're sort of on our way down. I have 4.675 units of insulin. As I was going up to 9, the pump started to give me insulin. Okay, time and range. We're doing a little bit better. We're at 75% time and range, 25% above, 8.4. So it's all pretty good. It's still having a few highs. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to sleep without it peaking, but we'll see. Now, today I want to discuss with you, was I different as a diabetic? We'll have to wait and see. We'll be right back. Hi, we're back. Now, was I different as a T1D? I thought, to tell you the honest truth, me getting diabetes, it was awesome. Because A, I lost a whole bunch of weight. I went from being a fat little kid to a skinny teenager. After I went through everything and was in the hospital, I came back and reported in the homeroom, and my homeroom teacher kind of did one of these and say, "And who are you?" I said, "I'm Mike Stewart," and he goes, I know, Mike. You're not Mike. So I thought, being a diabetic was great. When I got diabetes, I was all sort of in high school. So I think that whole sort of I'm different and, we're going to pick on you because you're diabetic, we were a little bit more mature. I stopped getting picked on pretty much, but it was all a good time. I mean, I was still the odd person out, but we all have regrets of our teenage years. I wish I was more outgoing, and I think diabetes kind of really put me out there in here, but I think everyone just saw me as a regular student. There were a couple of times I had to go down to the nurse, and there was this time somebody thought it was really funny to be pulling the fire alarms and we'd all have to leave. And one time, just before the fire alarm rang, I had to go to the nurse because I was experiencing low. At this time, I could feel them, and I got the shakiness and everything. And I asked to go to the nurse, and I walked down to the nurse. These were the days you were sent by yourself. Well, you're in high school now. You don't need someone to watch you. Sorry, there was that little piece of lint that was bugging me. And so while I'm getting to the office, I report in and I say, or not the office, the nurse's office, I started to say, I'm feeling low. So they sort of start treatment, and they got, back then it was orange juice with sugar in it. And, I was sweating and I was doing everything. And then the fire alarm went off. We had to evacuate. I'll do a more in-depth story of this. And I was taken away in an ambulance out in front of the whole school. And the next day when I came back, because it was just a low blood sugar, they just took me because the fire department said, well, we think it's a good idea, you go. So I went. I came back and everyone said, oh, you're doing drugs, are you? I'm like, no. Oh, we heard the story that you were doing drugs. So I was different because I was doing drugs, which I wasn't doing. But that kind of blew over quickly. And I think most people who knew me knew I didn't do drugs. So, but there were the little things. For the first 2 years, I would do my urine test. As soon as the bell rang, I would go out and I would do a void, then a second void. And the big thing was, you couldn't eat till you did your urine test because it'll affect the amount of sugar. It was a bunch of garbage. You had to do a test, you had to void, then you had to wait 15 minutes, and there would, rub warm water, or wash your hands in warm water, and just wait. And you know how ridiculous you are in a boy's bathroom trying to submerge your hands so you can go to the bathroom? No, it didn't go well. So I had a few times when I was starting to get low, and the big one was sort of just before lunch. And I knew in my locker was my lunch, just waiting. And as soon as we were let out, I would run, grab my lunch, and I would scarf that down. Who cared about the urine tests? It was a pain. I started forgetting, not doing them. It was just a whole pain. So yes, I was different. People would see me, I'd be sweating, and sometimes I'd be shaking. Once, when I was in Alberta, I went to school and I got the cold, or the school cold, and my German teacher, I never took French or English, my German teacher said, you don't look well. And I really wasn't. I was nothing, some good sleep, and I went home, and the first thing the lady who was taking care of my dad and me said, "Oh, you look like you're high sugar again. You been eating crap again." Started giving me the whole lecture. But no, I was higher, but it was because of the cold. I went and I slept for 3 days. I don't remember getting up much. And I slept, and then I felt much better and just went back to school. But I had that 3 day break. Day I was sent home 2 other days. I don't remember catching up on homework, but it was all good. But yes, there's gonna be times when you're gonna be different. I was. But there's also so much that you're just like every other person out there. And you know that you're that good, that you're that person and you are awesome. I don't care whether you have diabetes or not. You all have something to offer the society. Don't let anyone tell you you don't and you're not worthy, because you're good and you are awesome. Didn't I kind of say that twice? You're awesome twice, 3 times. But never forget that. And I think kids in primary school are going to be more afraid that they're going to be outed for being diabetic. And I think, well, they don't really have to be outed for it. I think it's more, once we got into high school, we all know we all have something, that each of us is different. And, it may be one thing, it may be something other, but we all have one thing. Sorry, it was an itchy nose again. So just remember, yes, you're going to be different because of type 1, but don't worry about it. Just go and be an average kid, an average teenager, an average human being, but we all have special skills. And remember that. Have a great day, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, is story time. Have a great day. We'll talk later. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me